Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to navigate through the TEKS resource system. This is the website up here, and you're going to log in using your district email and then a password that you set up for yourself. So once you sign in, you're going to want to come over here and select your grade level. So I'm first grade, so I'll select first. And then whatever subject area you're designing. So I'm going to come to English, Language Arts, and Reading. So as you see up here, you can toggle back and forth between grades or even content area without going back to the home screen. So the first thing we're going to look at is the vertical alignment document, or the VAD. Okay, I'm going to view it here. So what this document does is it shows you everything that the grade before you has learned, what your students will be learning with you, and what they will learn in second grade. So you can actually select up to 5 grades to compare them. We normally just do the grade below and the grade above. So if you, we'll go down here, look at kindergarten, their 2A is demonstrate phonological awareness by, and it will show you the specificity. Then you can look at your grade, and then you can also see what they will need to know, what they will be learning in the grade above them. And if you come here, you can see that identifying the individual words in spoken sentence is taught in kindergarten, but it's not something that is explicitly taught in first or second. So this document is just going to provide the clarity and depth and complexity of our standards. We'll go ahead and close out of that. The next resource they have for us is the TEKS clarification. So these are things that can be assessed throughout the year. We do performance assessments, or you hear us call them PAs. So this is going to break it down and show you what they need to be doing and how they can do it for each TEK. So let's go down here. So like this one, 1D, work collaboratively with others by following agreed upon rules for discussion, including listening to others, speaking when recognized, and making appropriate contributions. These are some of the ways that they should be doing that. They should work collaboratively, listen actively, speak when recognized, make appropriate contributions, ask relevant questions. So it just takes the TEKS and it does what it says, clarifies them for you. And next is our year at a glance. We call this the YAG. So here in Lytle, we do 9 weeks grading period, so you'll always click on the 9 weeks. So here, this is just what we use to create our curriculum maps. One of the resources we use to create our curriculum maps. These tell you the units, their name, how long they last. So this one should be 15 days. Now keep in mind, this is a suggestion. If you think you need longer for the unit, as a team, as a grade level, you can decide to make it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, but this is just what they suggest. And the TEKS that should be taught during that unit. And you can see if you hover over it, you can actually click on that TEK and it will take you to it, and it will tell you what that TEK actually is. 1.2b is identifying and reading at least 100 high frequency words from a research-based list. So if you're not familiar with the TEKS and you see them, you can click on that just to get clarification. Okay, the next one is TEKS verification. Again, we do 9 weeks, so you'll click on the 9 weeks. And up here it tells you T means that TEK is taught directly. D is developing, so that TEK needs continued practice for the improvement, refinement, but it's not necessarily explicitly taught in that specific unit. And O is ongoing. So these are TEKs that have been previously taught. They're proficient of the knowledge and skills, but it should be applied or practiced in a new or different context. So you can see here 1.1a is taught all the way in the first 9 weeks and the second 9 weeks. And then after that, it's a developing TEK. And there's some down here. Let me find them. Here, 1.2, this one, recognizing spoken alliteration or groups of words, is taught for the first 9 weeks, is developing for the second 9 weeks, and after that, it's ongoing. The next tab is the Resources tab. This has a lot of resources for you. One of the new things this year is this COVID-19 gap implementation tool. So what this does is it will show you, it has to download to your computer. So these are going to be the concepts and skills that were supposed to be introduced to students in kindergarten, so it's going to grade below you. But they probably have little to no background knowledge on the concept and skills because it was supposed to be taught in the last 9 weeks, which obviously we missed because of COVID. So here you'll see grade K. These are exclusively taught in the last 9 weeks. It will give you the TEK, then how it aligns with first grade. And these are some notes for you. So this is something that's new that your team will probably be using while you're designing and while you're implementing new and old previous TEKs. Go back. Another thing that they have that is new is this PA checklist for phonological awareness. You can also download it to your computer. So again, these are just resources that you can use. You will decide as a team or as a district what we'll be using to assess where they're at. So these are just recording forms for your students and questions. That way it's all uniformed across the grade level when you're assessing them. If they can produce rhyming words, if they know the initial sounds, alliterations, etc. The last section is the IFD, Instructional Focus Document. You will use this every time that you design. So every time you're with your team or on your own and you're designing your units, you will need to resource or look at these documents. So this is Unit 1. It's called Ready, Set, Go, Interacting with Print and Language Around Us. When you open that, you want to start by reading the unit overview. It's going to give you an introduction about the unit. It's going to go over what they did prior to this unit, so prior being in kindergarten or even later on in the year, what they did earlier in the year. It's going to tell you what you should be doing during this unit and after this unit. So when you open the units, you want to start by reading this. Be familiar with it, know what they've already been taught, what they're expected, and what their goal is. And over here on the side, if it's a discipline that we do the performance assessments in, we'll get them from here. Let's scroll down. So they have the unit vocabulary. And then here, these are all the TEKs that are taught within this unit, and then the specificity of it. So here, 1.1a, listen actively, ask relevant questions to clarify information, and answer questions using multi-word responses. And these are some of the ways that those can be taught or implemented. And it will have every TEK. Since I'm in reading, this is going to show you, I'm going to show you phonics, reading, and writing. And again, if you need to go back to a different area, you can just click up here and say you want to do mathematics. It will give you the same options here. You can go to Unit 1. Oh, that's still, sorry. I didn't hit search. There we go. So that unit in math is obviously called something different. but it gives you the same information: the introduction, what they did prior to the unit, what they'll be doing during the unit, after the unit. It will give you the performance assessments. These are some misconceptions that they have. The unit vocabulary, a bunch of resources, and again the TEKS, and they will break them down for you. Again, these are the documents that we probably use the most while designing lessons. If you have any questions, you can always go to your team lead, and also, of course, Ms. Schott or Ms. Fuel and Ms. Galindo.